Hi there, my name is Gabriela Rakaseka, and I'm here today to give a tour of my completed website on the impact of 3D biological printing. By the end of the tour, you should be left with new or further knowledge on the concept of bioprinting. This here is the cover page and is a pretty basic introduction to what the website has to offer. I programmed this website about 3D biological printing through a website called cPanel. This website had allowed me to make my complete website as you see here. I use HTML to place all of my information onto each separate web page and CSS styling to customize the overall look of my web page. An example of this is how there is a white background behind all font on the web page, and there is a picture theme behind the following information. By the use cPanel, I was able to make my website come to life. Now, you might be wondering how I go about choosing the image you see on this page. Well, first I went to Google Images and found my background image that I would later on edit. I was able to edit the banner you see here through Pixlr. So this background here. In simpler terms, you could say Pixlr is a Photoshop site. I edited the background by using the smudge tool to blur and mesh together all of the images as to make a once 3D image look more flat and blurry so it would be eye-catching, yet not too eye-catching. I also styled my logo through Pixlr. The red one that you guys just saw here was the logo. I used layering techniques, color tools, and a fancy styled font to really make my logo stand out. By far the coolest thing I got to do with my images was to create the animation you see here. I had to use a GIF animator site, and it was a pretty simple website that gave awesome results. For example, I just had to upload 3 photo files, then set a duration timer. Then as you can see, I ended up with the result you see here. Explanations aside, let's look at the table of contents right down here. You see here there's a purpose page, impact page, technical aspects, relationship to data, and a references page. First, we'll click on the purpose page and see what it's all about. All right, so indicate the name of the innovation and provide a clear description of its intended purpose, such as the purpose that the innovation solved, the opportunity that the innovation created, or the discovery that the innovation made possible. So, the innovation is 3D biological printing, and its purpose is to be applied to regenerative medicine studies. This application has made it possible to address the creation of tissue and organs that are suitable enough for transplantation. As you can see, there's a fabricated heart here, a man in a laboratory, and down here is a National Geographic video, which will further highlight the purpose of 3D biological printing. So, scrolling down, one, explain a benefit and or harmful effect of the innovation. One benefit is the utilization of 3D printer-like techniques to bind cells, growth factors, and biomaterials to fabricate biomedical parts that maximally imitate natural tissue characteristics. Then we have here, explain the impact that the innovation has had on society, economy, and or culture. So, in society, the research of biomaterials has led to further areas of research for engineers, such as the exploration of other options like printing microchannels that can maximize the diffusion of nutrients and oxygen from neighboring tissues. And further down, indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has potential to impact. Describe the impact. Aside from computer science, 3D biological printing has had an impact on biological research as a whole. This is because 3D biological printing has looked at a whole new way to repair and slash or improve certain body parts that doctors weren't originally able to fix. Before this innovation, doctors weren't able to just make living cells and organs out of thin air, but now they can. So, off to the right, you can see a chart filled with data. I collected the following data from a Google form that I created. I was able to give out this survey by posting the URL in a forum on Sakai. On the Google form was a quick and easy survey for my classmates to check the impact of 3D biological printing on their own life and its impact on society. The survey is very accessible for my classmates, but only half of the class seemed to take the survey. This made my amount of data to work with small since it's a survey of at most 10 students. According to the overall results, these 10 students believe that 3D biological printing has tripled the impact in society rather than their own lives. So, we're going to move on to the next page now. Describe how a user interacts with the innovation. A user will interact with 3D biological printing either through engineering, medical operation, or even biological study. Additionally, all 3 of these interactions co-align in this process of printing cells. Next one, describe in detail how the innovation's technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of extraction, algorithms, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. A 3D biological printing incorporates the big idea of the internet. This is because a lot of the study for this innovation is through biological research and gathering information from a variety of databases online. And then describe how the innovation consumes data as input, produces as output, and or transforms data. So once we have the necessary research and the list of possibilities that can get made through the innovation, we then transform our inputs and outputs to the fabrication of biomedical parts. This transformation of data is when we take the intermediate parts of production and put them all together to make our final goods that then get used in medical operation. Then the last question. Describe at least one data storage concern, data privacy concern, or data security concern related to the innovation. There's a major data security concern related to 3D biological printing. With the quick rate that biotechnological creations are growing at, there is a large concern of data breaches. Then, since we do have one more video to look at before we go to references, we're going to go right back to our effects and impacts. We're going to watch a quick video that I had created on the impact of 3D bioprinting.
Beneficial impact of 3D bioprinting? Well, some benefits of 3D bioprinting are things like printing tissues and organs to help research drugs and pills. It's great for researching regenerative medicine, and 3D bioprinting incorporates printing of scaffolds to regenerate joints and ligaments. Wow, that was insightful. Thanks, Gabby. Mom got dinner ready. Alright, see you, bud. My pet polar bear has been missing a paw for years. So we thought it was time to cook her up a new one with our 3D bioprinter. That's better.
So, continuing down the page, we're going to go right down to the bottom and click back on Home. And to close out, quickly look at the references page. Now, I did have 3 references I looked at throughout this project, but one of the major ones was this one here. Now, this link to a Wikipedia page describes the 3D biological printing concept. This website was very useful in helping me gather information, and I highly would recommend it. I feel this way because it's not only a website on 3D biological printing, it also has other related links within the reading. These links are helpful for understanding broader concept of bioprinting. For example, if I click here on biomaterials, I get brought to another Wikipedia page. This one is more focused on the study of biomaterials, and eventually the secondary webpage ties back to 3D biological printing. And to conclude, this site makes it so that you can hit all the stops when learning about 3D biological printing. Thank you.